Platforms that allow users to create content for others are becoming more and more present, but these were traditionally restricted to social media platforms such as Instagram and YouTube. But now we are seeing a rise of them being added to the games industry, notably Roblox. But other platforms are trying to become big players in the genre. Fortnite, for example, is trying to create competition for Roblox by allowing users to utilize a modified version of Unreal Engine called UEFN, or for those who know, Unreal Engine for Fortnite. But there is one new player in this space that I feel deserves more attention than it's getting. Sandbox is a UGC platform created and developed by Facepunch, the studio behind Rust, but more notably, the studio behind Gmod. This is important because Sandbox is basically the spiritual successor to Gmod, meaning that it already has a big name in the space. Although Gmod is no longer as big in the UGC space, I believe Sandbox has a chance to become a big player, rivaling Fortnite and potentially even Roblox. Sandbox is a platform which could potentially become a direct rival to Roblox. This is important because currently the second biggest UGC is Fortnite Creative. However, since Fortnite Creative is backed by the behemoth that is Fortnite and Epic Games, they don't really have to worry about Fortnite Creative succeeding and directly competing with Roblox. This allows Roblox to have a monopoly in this space, meaning it doesn't really have to care about its users or its policies to maintain growth and success, as people don't really have an alternative to go to. We are currently seeing how having no competition affects Roblox, as they're just making whatever decision that allows shareholders to make the most money, even if it means upsetting the fan base, or letting people who shouldn't even be on the platform actively participate. I think another platform that forces other UGC games to have to think twice about their decisions is a net positive. But before I get into why I think Sandbox has a chance, could you just take a moment to subscribe if you're enjoying the video? Or if you're not, just leave a comment with some feedback. This is a new and small channel, so it would mean a lot. Thanks. So, what makes Sandbox unique? Well, I believe it can be a lot more powerful than Roblox Studio, empowering developers to create fully fledged indie games while providing them with a platform to host and monetize their games. This gives indie developers a better chance of making it in the space, so they don't have to worry about marketing as much, or coughing up $100 to put their games up on Steam without even knowing if it will succeed. Sandbox also provides developers with an in-house engine built on Valve's Source 2. However, unlike Roblox, which uses Lua, and UEFN, which uses Verse, Sandbox uses C#, which is a widely utilized language used in game development, predominantly by Unity. In fact, a lot of the Sandbox engines takes heavy inspiration from Unity, allowing developers who already have prior experience in Unity to jump straight into development without having to jump through so many hurdles of learning new workflows or languages or any other features that make other UGC platforms so hard to grasp at first. Actually, it's so simple that even I could jump into it and create something that moved around and did stuff even when I haven't touched the engine before. I will say the documentation is heavily lacking at the minute though. But on top of this, Sandbox also removes the restrictions that many UGC platforms impose. For example, Fortnite makes developers jump through many hurdles just to make their games not look like Fortnite. So if you wanted to develop something in a unique style and use your own UI, you're going to struggle on UEFN. Roblox also makes it unnecessarily difficult to change the player model. Like, I have no idea how that even works. It's just so unnecessarily complex. It also imposes a lot of limits on the amount of custom assets that can be imported monthly, making games take ages to be made if they don't want to look generic and identical to basically every other game on Roblox. Meanwhile, Sandbox only really forces you to use their UI for things like the pause menu, which I think it's fair since that's really it, just the pause menu. Everything else is optional. In fact, they're so open that they let you export their games from Sandbox into any other ecosystem, which is revolutionary. This means if you make a game that's successful on Sandbox, you can take it completely out of the Sandbox ecosystem and put it up on Steam. You just need to make sure you follow their royalty fees or whatever they ask from you. But that's something that other platforms just doesn't allow you to do. It's completely impossible. Sandbox also offers a unique form of monetization. Roblox allows developers to earn money, but this is done by forcing developers to encourage players, usually young, to spend Robux on microtransactions. This monetization strategy allows for a growing number of slot games on Roblox, whose whole purpose is just to make young players spend as much money as possible. Sandbox differs in the fact that monetization is paid depending on how many hours are spent playing the game. This means that games have to be fun and enjoyable to earn money. This encourages developers to make actual entertaining experiences that makes players want to play and keep playing the games instead of just being cash grabs. So players will have to consider things that will make players want to play the game instead of just spamming ads everywhere or making everything pay to win, because people will just leave the game. But now developers have to make people want to play the game. But now the actual important question: how long until this all happens? Well, I don't know. I don't even know if it's gonna happen. Sandbox has been in development for around 8 years, and it's still really early on even after that time. I think it's primarily taking that long because they have to make an in-house engine from scratch. And anybody who's even conceptualized the idea of making an in-house engine will tell you that is no easy feat, especially with a small team and an engine with the scope of something like Unity. But now that it's out on early access preview, it might only be a few years until a fully fledged release is out and the engine is ready for development. However, I think the biggest thing that may make Sandbox not catch on is the fact that the game may be pay to play. I think the best way for a game like this to work is if 1, it's free, and 2, it's on basically any platform you can think of. Because if it's only, my phone just went off, sorry. Because if it's only on PC, there is no point in it. If it's only on PC, I would just go to Steam and play these games, or I'd go to Roblox, or I'd go to itch.io. There's no real purpose in me making a game in Sandbox when I could make it in Unity and possibly make more money out of it. But now, if the game engine, or Sandbox even, is available on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, any other device, that would be a massive selling point, because console players, they never really have access to these small titles. The developers of Sandbox do seem to be toying with the idea of making the game free to play. So I guess we just don't really know until it releases. But if it is pay to play, it might not have the growth to rival other free to play giants. But yeah, if it's added to other platforms, the allure of being able to play Unity level indie games without needing a PC may be enough to make players want to purchase the game. Like, imagine if Lethal Company was made in Sandbox instead of Unity, because there's no real reason it couldn't have been developed in Sandbox. Or a game like Peak. Games like these may in the future be developed in Sandbox and may be available to everybody for free, or maybe for a small fee of Sandbox itself. But for now, we'll just have to wait and see and hope that in the future, more people have access to indie games everywhere.